Title of my research proposal is How and Why Motherhood Mothers Womanhood. My main research question is going to be how motherhood implicates structures and kind of connects with the ideology of womanhood. What a good mother is, what kind of characteristics define that, and then how do those evaluations and judgments map on to the set of hierarchical evaluations that determine what a good or bad woman is. What are the effects, the tangible, social, economic effects of that relationship on women's lives, and how are these evaluations prescribed to women and mothers? Can identify any state apparatuses that maintain and enforce these prescribed ideals. The theoretical frameworks I'm going to be working with. First, I'll talk a bit about Anne Allison's Japanese Mother and Eventos, the lunchbox as an ideal state apparatus. I am going to first talk about why Allison's assertion that motherhood is in itself a state apparatus so important to my research. This assertion really is going to root and kind of establish my claims going forward. I'm going to be working on the basis that motherhood is an ideological state apparatus, and that it's enforced through cultural symbols like the bento boxes in the article that she talks about, and that females and mothers alike have to subscribe to and kind of forced to participate in, or at least operate within the system of motherhood. In that a woman's worth is evaluated based on this false notion, an ideal of motherhood. So I'll be kind of arguing that and working off the assumption that motherhood as an ideology is false in itself, because it is informed by false presumptions, which I will talk about soon, which are kind of go along with her assertion that motherhood is a self-fulfilling prophecy, that women and mothers produce and consume motherhood through their own labor, fortifying those gendered labor borders, and effectively simultaneously excluding and containing themselves in these spaces that are unequal, kind of perpetuating their own inequality. And then I'll be bringing up Sarah Ahmed's Living a Feminist Life, mainly her theory about fragility, and which really goes hand in hand with Allison's assertion that motherhood is a self-fulfilling prophecy based on a false prediction, that prediction being that femininity is attached and fixed to a notion of fragility, and that over time, chronologically, there's been a linear pattern of motherhood, of these state apparatuses kind of enforcing and instructing the idea that women are fragile. Ahmed argues that, being told that you're fragile, you perform fragilely. When someone questions you, you question yourself. Falling or failing becomes a hard wall, a thing, a confirmation, like affirmation of an idea, a realization that you are fragile, and thus perpetuating the fragility, thus perpetuating the characteristics that are prescribed in motherhood, thus perpetuating a woman's value for performing them or not. Mainly that prescribed gender characteristics and roles inform politics and behavior within our society, which informs that structure of that society and how we operate within the structure, and therefore perpetuating the gender roles in the cycle. And then also one of the main articles or main frameworks I'll be working with is John Abbott's The Mother at Home, published in 1873. So he wrote a book about the couple of big tenets of what a mother should be, what makes her good or bad. This is very key to my argument. It really outlines even from a kind of historical basis of what a good mother is and how that defines a good woman. He argues mainly that I'll be working on the framework of cheerfulness, performed emotional labor, and the way that this actually is kind of is oppressive, restrictive, very limiting. You can't express anything else than a smile. You really just takes your seriousness away and agency and ability to express anything else than what someone's forcing you to. Therefore, women are supposed to have these characteristics of cheerfulness, are supposed to, never be melancholy because that's a sin, and it should be natural to them. And if it's not natural to you, if you can't perform that, you're a bad mother because your kids are supposed to be around cheerful mothers. Therefore, you're a bad woman because you're supposed to have that motherhood quality, which is cheerfulness. Again, another cycle that perpetuates itself. And then by performing cheerfulness, it's also perpetuating the idea that women are naturally cheerful and that cheerfulness is good for mothers. And basically, what I'm working with here is that cheerfulness, that prescribed labor, that enjoying it, like loving everything, even when it's not lovable, and naturally, and that this is all natural and inherent to women. It's a characteristic that for some reason, someone said we're born with. And from there, thinking about how not performing that supposed inherent false ideology of motherhood has repercussions socially and economically. The first case study I'll work with here is my own mother. I'm just going to, in my proposal, kind of outline some of the ways that her experiences are going to inform my argument here. She is someone who is very much feeling it describes the effect of perpetuating gendered labor and how that cycle continues, getting a degree, a master's, staying home for like 16 years, getting a job that allows flexibility to take care of your kids. It's, you stay home in the first place because you would get paid less because, I don't know, I'm probably just a woman, and then now getting paid less again because she was a mother, kind of getting penalized for being a woman and then a mother, and then keeps on going. Then I'll be kind of analyzing Beyonce, and mainly in the way that she successfully, to a T, participates in the system. She is a good mother, and therefore she is a good woman. Some of her quotes really line up with a lot of the things that Abbott had said about cheerfulness and good spirits and God and nature, and just kind of the perpetuation of the ideology on Allison's side. Pregnancy is the most incredible gift anyone can have. I'm so happy. I'm a woman. It's incredible. Men don't get to experience this. Again, just fortifying those different borders. And saying it's the most incredible gift anyone can have. Cheerfulness, like exhibiting that kind of cheerfulness. You can wonder if it's prescribed, and is it really the most incredible? And said, like, upon being pregnant, I feel more like a woman, more feminine, more sensual. So because she's pregnant, it's like, I feel more like a woman. So it's like, if you're a mother, you are more of a woman and more feminine by that. standard there. And then moving forward, I'm going to be bringing some pop culture here, which is in contrast to what Beyonce was saying. Bad Moms and The Letdown actually make a point of honestly and, cringeworthy, hilariously, just being honest and kind of pointing out the ways that it's okay to say this sucks, or I'd rather not have puke on me, and like, why can't you watch whatever, her daughter's name, I forget the daughter's name, more, and also I don't want to be on the PTA, like whatever. These mothers are actually just like refusing and saying, no, this is not what I want, and I don't have to be this. And it's funny, and it like you can definitely see the ways that people push back on that and they suffer from that. But yeah, I find that interesting just because Beyonce is super adamant about how it's the most like amazing thing ever, which totally participates in that idea, and that just like shows in movies like this don't participate really, and they kind of make not participating an okay thing. And then I wonder, for example, talking about the ideology, what would happen if Beyonce didn't participate? Right? Like her economics, her social standing, it would be hurt. If she said that she critiqued anything about motherhood, she could be seen as a bad mother, and then a bad woman, and then like so she can't really even do that if she wanted to, she can't really, which is confining and a forced cheerfulness that Abbott talks about. And then also it's interesting to think the ways that you can benefit from participating. Obviously there's benefits, 100%. It's like easier. Why is it a problem that mother defines womanhood? Because it's a perpetuating cycle, and it's oppressive to all women, and it's also oppressive to men, and it's a state ideology that dictates a woman's individual worth by her adherence to femininity and fragility values and performance that determine what a good mother is. Basically, the main problem is you can't refuse. You can't say no. You get punished for deviating or challenging that system in so many different ways, real tangible ways. And women should be able to halt that chain of forced motherhood prescriptions. And then there's a problem that it would disrupt the production, consumption, performance, commodification, and cyclical enforcement of evaluation system measured by those gendered metrics. Those gendered metrics are like really a huge problem. My search trend basically is that motherhood is in itself a state ideology, and that it is invasive of women's free will, and it is set upon the false expectation that there's something natural in being a woman, and like a mother that makes you a woman, and it's super problematic. And that by that nature assumption, women are invariably intended to possess those characteristics, and being expected to produce and have those characteristics is in itself a production and consumption of motherhood through one's own labor, and enjoying that labor and taking part of it is great because you're supposed to experience happiness if that's actually bringing that, but it's really not good. The problem there is that it contains and excludes women and mothers simultaneously at the same time, working to create a farther divide, participating in building up and rebuilding up those walls between opportunity and labor and performance, and mostly that we're vastly just not even conscious of that. intervention. Once we reimagine motherhood, valuation, can we begin to achieve labor equality and gender, sex, and racial inequality? What could this reimagining motherhood do for social economic circumstances?